Hello, my name is Graham McCulloch, and this is my video for the Addressing the Gaps assignment. So, from the article Deciphering the Socio-Political Context of School Reform, to answer the first question, what information was familiar and why was it familiar? So I had two pieces of information that stood out to me from this. One of them being the achievement gap that was discussed. It's the achievement gap for diverse learners, which refers to the disparity in academic achievement between European American students compared to Latino American or Latino or African American students. This was extremely familiar to me because it is something that I have learned about a lot throughout this year in particular, this semester in particular, actually, and it has been discussed at length as being arguably the biggest challenge we face in education in many of my classes, including this class, Culturally Responsive Practices. And the other thing that stood out to me as being familiar was really the basis of this entire article, being the impact of socio-political context, meaning the contemporary ideologies, laws, regulations, policies, traditions, and practices that define America's education system. We have spoken at length in class about how the systems present in our lives can affect and create academic inequity, and the socio-political systems that we live under are no different from these. They also contribute to this academic inequity. So the next question to answer was, what information was new or gave you something to consider from this article, and what are your thoughts on that new idea or concept? So the new information that stood out to me was the connection between public schools and democracy. The socio-political context impacts schools' policies and practices in a plethora of ways, such as their curriculum, their teaching, how discipline is handled at the school, and the hiring and firing of staff, just to name a few. And while this information is new to me, I don't find it necessarily surprising, as public schools are directly impacted by political actions such as the passing of laws or policies that relate to education or the school system at large. And therefore, as the article states, the socio-political context determines who benefits and who is hindered by the curriculum, and furthermore, the education system at large. And then how can I use what I've learned as the basis for an area of growth to benefit myself and my future students? I believe that I can and will use what I've learned from this article to grow and better myself as a future educator. One of the biggest and most important aspects of being culturally responsive as a teacher is being knowledgeable about the variety of factors that can contribute to the much talked about achievement gap in education. So by learning more about how the socio-political context impacts this gap, I'm bolstering my knowledge and understanding of how certain students can be disadvantaged by that context, and through that newfound understanding, I'll be able to better accommodate and assist those students who might be disadvantaged by the system. Just by having a deeper well of knowledge and understanding to draw from as a teacher, I'll be able to be more intentional, which is another massive part of being culturally responsive in my practices, and do what I can to help narrow and hopefully eventually close the achievement gap in education. Thank you.